ต่อกันเลยค่ะ People used to think that babies were born without empathy, but that is simply not true. We are all wired for empathy. We just have to learn how to connect the wires to make it work. Empathy sits in the brain limbic system. This controls memory, emotion, and instinct. It is a complicated neurological system involving mirror neurons and the insula. What many don't realize is that we are biologically predisposed to connect to others. This is made possible to many neuronal systems that are embedded in the right hemisphere of the brain. The mirror neurons being an important aspect of this. The self is not an individual entity, you see, but a relational construct. Daniel Siegel, a clinical professor of psychology at UCLA, says, empathy is not a luxury for human beings. It is a necessity. We survive not because we have claws and not because we have big fangs. We survive because we can communicate and collaborate. Empathy facilitates our connection to others. It develops in infancy through the relationship with the attachment figures. A child first learns to tune into his or her mother's emotions and moods, and later on to other people's. What the mother feels, the child will feel and mirror. This is why things such as eye contact, facial expression, and tone of voice are so important in the beginning of life. It is the first way we feel trust in attachment and begin to learn empathy. Moreover, babies will sometimes soothe other babies with pacifiers or a fluffy toy when they hear them cry. They respond to crying from others by becoming afraid or anxious, and some even start to cry when they hear it. They may not understand the reason for the crying or the emotion behind, but they will learn with time and experience. Studies show that 18-month-old children will almost always try to help an adult who is struggling with a task. If the adult is reaching for something, the toddler will try to hand it to him, or if the child sees the adult drop something accidentally, she will pick it up. On the other hand, if the same adult throws something to the ground forcefully, the toddler won't pick it up for him. She understands that the action was deliberate and the adult doesn't want it, even before kids are taught to help or to be considerate. Perhaps before they understand it an obligation, children are less selfish than often presumed. The responsibility of parents. Parents have a big responsibility because they are the primary example of empathy and must practice being empathic themselves. This can be done with their use of language and their behavior. Children are constantly focused on their parents and will mirror them. Therefore, what they experience in the home will be crucial for their empathy development. The kinds of families that can coach a child's ability to empathize are the families in which children are exposed to physical, psychological, or sexual abuse. Their healthy boundaries are bridges along with their ability to feel for others. Any child who has suffered an attachment trauma will have his or her capacity for empathy damaged. Other types of families that can affect a child empathy development are the very overprotective ones. These are the parents who are afraid to let their children fail or feel the big emotions, and who do everything to avoid conflict and fulfill their child's every wish. These parents sometimes hide their logical, irrational, and emotional reaction to protect their children. It hinders the children's ability to read other emotions because what they see and feel is not what the parents confirm, which in turn can reduce their capacity for empathy. Children from overprotective families are often the ones who grow up more prone to narcissism, anxiety, and depression. They aren't allowed to self-regulate because of the mismatch between feeling and action. Children who are consistently told how to feel and behave will not develop in the same way as those who are acknowledged and allowed to express their full range of emotion. They may become disconnected from how they truly feel, which can make it hard to navigate life's many decisions in a healthy way. They may come to feel a lingering emptiness and dissatisfaction. How can we know what we want when we don't know what we feel? How can we know what we want when we don't know what we feel? Yes, how can we know? Fostering empathy in children early on helps them create better, more caring relationships in the future, and we know these caring relationships that are the foundation for true happiness and well-being. How do they learn to be so empathic? In the Danish school system, there is a mandatory national program implemented as early as preschool called Step by Step. The children are shown pictures of kids' age exhibition a different emotion: sadness, fear, anger, frustration, happiness, and so on. The kids talk about these colors and put into words what the child is sensing, learning to conceptualize their own and other feelings. They learn empathy, problem solving, self-control, and how to read facial expressions. An essential part of the program is that the facilitators and children aren't judgmental of the emotion they see. Instead, they simply recognize and respect them. Another program which is increasingly popular is called Cat Kit. This program is used to improve emotional awareness and empathy and focus on how to articulate experiences, thoughts, feelings, and sense. Tools in the Cat Kit include picture cards of faces, measuring sticks of gauge intensity of emotion, and picture of the body on which participants can draw the physical aspect and location of emotion. There is also a tool called My Circle, on which children draw their friends, family members, professionals, and strangers in different parts of the circle to help work on understanding others. The Mary Foundation has had a major impact on empathy training in school as well. Mary, the Cow Princess and soon-to-be Queen of Denmark, had created an anti-bullying program which has been implemented across the country. Free of Bullying is a program in which 3 to 8-year-olds talk about bullying and teasing so they can learn to become more caring toward each other. It had yield positive results, and more than 90% of teachers say they would recommend it to other institutions. Another obvious example is empathy training in Danish school is in how they mix children of different strengths and weakness together. Students who are stronger academically are taught alongside those who are less strong. Share kids with more gregarious ones, and so on. It is done subtly. The teacher gets to know the student with time and then seat them accordingly. The goal is for students to see that everyone has positive qualities and to try to help each other reach the next level. The match with me be terrible at soccer and vice versa. The system fosters collaboration, teamwork, and respect. Studies show that there is a huge learning curve in teaching others. Students who teach others work harder to understand the material, recall it more precisely, and use it more effectively. But they also have to try to understand the perspective of other students in order to help them where they are having trouble. The ability to explain complicated subject matter to another student is not an easy task, but it is an invaluable life skill. And as Eben witnessed firsthand during her years as a teacher, this type of collaboration and empathy also delivers a deep level of satisfaction and happiness to kids. This comes back to the social brain and what we saw from the fMRI result in the prisoner dilemma. Culturally, toward we might think people's brain actually register more satisfaction from cooperating than from winning alone. Perhaps then it is no surprise that empathy is one of the single most important factors in making successful leaders, entrepreneurs, managers, and businesses. It reduces bullying, increases our capacity to forgive, and greatly improves relationships and social connectedness. Empathy enhances the quality of meaningful relationships, which we know is one of the most important factors in our sense of well-being. Empathic teenagers are shown to be more successful because they are more purpose-driven than their more narcissistic counterparts. And if you think about it, it all makes sense. Successful people don't operate alone. Each of us needs the support of others in order to achieve positive results in our lives. Maybe by focusing on actively teaching empathy to our children as they do in Denmark, we will make happier adults in the future. จบไปแล้ว1 วันทำไมช่วงนี้รู้สึกแบบเหนื่อยมากเพลียมากนี่คือพยายามที่จะอ่านออกเสียงเพราะว่ารู้สึกว่าอ่านออกเสียงจะได้ฝึกด้วยว่าตอนหลังที่ภาษาอังกฤษเริ่มติดขัดเริ่มพูดแล้วนึกคำไม่ออกเริ่มแบบอ่านแล้วมันไม่ natural ก็เลยพยายามเริ่มอ่านออกเสียงก็จะแบบแต่จะอ่านในเวที่แบบเหมือนเราอ่านหนังสืออ่านรีบๆคืออันนี้ไม่ได้เน้นว่าสำเนียงจะต้องได้นี่คืออ่านเป็นคำออกมาก่อนเพื่อให้จำได้แล้วอย่างน้อยเลยวันนี้เราก็ได้อ่านทุกวันค่ะขอบคุณที่อยู่ด้วยกันนะใครก็ตาม